The third stop on our spring 2024 journey will be for Windbreaker. I have zero clue anything about this series. It's actually a series that I haven't even heard of or even know what it was until I made my post and I asked some people what series they'd be interested in seeing her. Maybe just the series that they're interested themselves in watching. And a couple people ended up recommending this or stating that they were excited for this. So it got me interested to check out what exactly it was. So the first thing that really caught my attention was it's done by Cloverworks. So usually anything done by Cloverworks is pretty quality. It doesn't mean that the story itself is going to be quality. It just means that it's going to be animated in a way that I'm going to enjoy actually visually looking at. So it's going to be visually appealing. So that's always a plus. The second thing, I looked a little bit into it, not much, but I decided, all right, let me Google real quick and just see. And the most bare bones thing that I could basically find was somebody said it's like Tokyo Revengers in the sense because of delinquents and in the groups and all that stuff that they have, but there's no time travel and the MC is like capable and not like Takamichi. So that immediately also caught my attention. While I love my time travel and all that stuff, having a capable MC would also be pretty fun. So I'm a little cautious on the fact that I don't know if this is going to be simple. Here's our group and we're just going to fight together and overcome other groups, and that's kind of all it's going to be. It's going to be we're just like the strongest, and then if we're not, we have to face our adversity like that and then just like work together and become stronger, because it's like that's fun, but at the same time it's really generic and boring of a premise to really follow. So without like real strong characters or without any sort of like dramatic focus, any sort of point to really make things more interesting, give you a reason to really care for the characters, give you a reason to be like really invested in the plot itself and the things moving forward. I don't know if that's going to be present. So those are the things that I think concern me a lot going into this, is I'm uncertain if that's there. I think if that element is definitely there, I would be sold and I'd be interested in watching this 100%. I'm uncertain if that's present at all, and if it isn't and it's like kind of I'm almost thinking it might end up being like, I'm probably not going to be too interested in the series, so this might be the only episode we would end up doing, or you might just not actually end up seeing this at all. This is not to go into it with a negative mindset in any sort of way. It's more of just my understanding of what the series may be and my expectations almost, and then kind of laying that out for you so you can understand basically what I'd be looking for or almost expecting, and we'll see if we get that or not. Now, it could also be the most fun series I've ever watched throughout this one episode. I can enjoy it so much that I could care less if we develop or do any of that other stuff. We don't know. And well, that's why we're watching this. And that's why we have to kind of see. And I'll talk about all that stuff later in the discussion about the things I'm loving and the things that I'm not. As with all series, I'm making it a point to make it known. I reserve the rights to drop absolutely anything that I am watching on this channel. Just because I do an episode here does not mean we are finishing the series. I'm not like the other channels and stuff that people kind of will do that on. If I do not enjoy something, we will not be watching it. If nobody's watching the series either, and then I'm also not enjoying it, clearly I'm going to end up dropping it. If a lot of people end up watching the series and it's doing good for views and stuff, but I'm not enjoying it, we will not be watching it. It doesn't matter how good it's performing. If I'm not enjoying myself, I'm not enjoying myself. Now, there might be weird situations where I'm like, iffy on the series. I'm not absolutely loving it, but I'm not absolutely hating it, and there's some good things here or there, and there's some decent interaction with comments and views and stuff, and we might kind of continue based on that. But if I'm really just not enjoying it, we'll end up dropping it at that point. I'm going to try and make it more of a known thing. If I do not like something, to make like a community post or post in the comments of whatever the last video that we end up doing is on it, so people can be aware of maybe the reasons why, or just the fact that it is dropped, and not to be expecting anything else going forward. Once again, that's not for me trying to be negative. It's just me trying to lay that out for you so that you can kind of understand going into this that I'm not sold on it before I even go into it. Because sometimes there's series you just know they're going to hit because everybody's hyping them up a ton to the point that like I don't even need to go into the first episode to know if I'm going to like it or not. I'm just going to like it and we're going to go through all the episodes. This is one of those I'm not too certain on just because I don't really know anything or enough about it. So if things happen, and we end up not watching it as a result. Hopefully we all can understand that. I believe we're in store for 2 split cores from the things that I saw. I think they said 25 or 6 episodes, but we're only going to get 13 here. And then I'm uncertain if they're going to advertise the second core as part 2 of the season, or if they're going to do like they've been doing with a lot of other series of recent, like Mashal, I think is the most recent one that they did, where it originally is planned that there's going to be another core, and then they decide to delay it and advertise it as a season 2 to come out very shortly afterwards, just because it works better for promotion and stuff. I don't know what the plan is, but that seems to be the case here. So 13 episodes, not too bad. I'm not too angry about getting into something like that. The series itself is not finished to my knowledge either, so I don't believe we'll be getting any full adaptation at any point here, but it'll be a nice introduction. Hopefully, I don't know how far along they are either, so I don't know if this itself is going to cover like half of it or what we're going to get to, but I am excited, I guess, to see kind of where this goes. I'm hoping for just some fun, unique fight sequences that we might be able to see at some point, assuming that everybody starts beefing and fighting. I'm just hoping for a colorful set of characters, basically, that bring their own unique personalities and make this kind of fun, but nothing that's like too overly, I guess, comedic and just kind of goofy to the point that you can't really take the story itself serious at any moment, and then make the comedy in a way a little over the top that it just becomes like unsettling or just like uninteresting to me to really watch, because then I won't take like anything for the rest of the series too serious. So I don't know, we'll just have to see. We're gonna kind of dive in, and that's where I'm hoping for almost the direction we go. But if they surprise me, you know, pleasantly in a different direction, they surprise me in a different direction. I think that's enough yapping. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, hit the like and subscribe. They do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion, leave any comments with this episode or series, as well as recommend other things you might want to see me watch at some other point throughout this spring season or at any other given date. Let's get going though with episode 1 of Windbreaker. Rope. We climbing it, or is that a foot? Oh, we're walking it. I was gonna say, how are we going up that? This is a fun style. The balance, brother, the balance. Again, almost like it's expected of you. So delinquent, dyed hair, reputation built around him. A problem for those around you. Thought we were gonna go into OP. Sure. Oh. The strong don't pick on women like this, though. By abusing those below them. Instead of facing the challenge. Yeah, come on, dude. Stop being a little bit. Yeah, good try, kid. We fight for the good. We might build ourselves a bad reputation, but we do some good. Right. I just thought he was gonna say, I think it's acceptable to do something like that. Get the brakes off of you, buddy. Always up for a challenge. Cool. A high schooler looks like he's in high school. Oh, that looks great. Oh, that's really fun. Some fun stuff in the OP. Just leave without saying anything to her. Oh, she's got the leaks in the bag. It's always an essential. I wasn't saving you, I was just fighting him. Yeah. Not something you're used to hearing. You're used to getting chewed out by people, aren't you? Oh, oh no. Not hungry enough to go somewhere with you.
この町はちょっと前までいろんなチームやギャングやらの喧嘩や抗争で治安は最悪だったから普通の人はまず近寄りたがらない。私は立花琴葉。よろしくね。
Nice to meet you. You're beautiful.
なんでこんなに慣れ慣れしいんだよ。
Bro, just be happy. Be happy.
目の前で男5人ボコボコにしたやつだぞ。うまっ。 この店ってテイクオフできんの？
は？テイクアウト
Take out.
できねえよ。カラコンでも染めてるんでもないんでしょ？
あ？何か文句あんのか？
すげえビー玉みたい。
I still like how it's not half and half, and it's like, I don't know, like his hair.
メンチ切ったわけじゃねえよ。
お前変わってるな。
Is that your
大
instinct?
体は気色悪がるか頭ごなしに否定してくる。
So that's why that's your
もっとすごいの
instinct.
いつも見てるしね。こんなの。
どんなだよ。喧嘩は最強。落ちこぼれの吹き溜まり。毎日が派閥争いの下克上。盆も正月も喧嘩がない日はないって話。
Sounds like my kind of
俺はそ
place.
こでてっぺん取れ。
ああ、言うね。
Also, if you look like this, you stand out as a result too.
まさにクズ中のクズを決める戦い。俺にぴったり。
It's where I belong. Me and the other scum.
ああ、だから学校明日からなのに制服着てんだ。ワクワクしちゃった。
ちげえし、これはあれだ。引っ越してきたばっかで服がねえんだ。
Yeah.
そうっすか。楽しみっすよね、学校生活。
Enjoy your time,
お手
buddy.
出ろ。荷物忘れてんぞ。
これは大変だ。
What a guy.
いやいや、最近物忘れがひどくて。
So they're doing a good job at setting up little things like that to showcase his character pretty well.
はいこれ。さっきのお孫さんへのプレゼントなんだって。
Hmm.
助かり
It
ま
would
し
have
た。
been awful
あ
if
り
you
が
didn't
と
have
うっ
it.
て。なんで赤くなってんのよ。
あうるせえ。つうか、この町のやつはお前も含めておかしいだろ。
え？
Why are you so nice to someone like this?
警戒したり疑ったり。前財布拾った時はお前が吸ったんだろって言われたんだぞ。中身確認するとかもっと用心しなきゃダメだろ。
あんたに風鈴のてっぺんは取れない。絶対にね。
Why is that?
今
Too
のまま
nice,
じゃ
buddy.
てっぺんどころか風鈴の誰にも相手にされないかも。
なわけあるか。お前俺がどれだけ強いか知らねえだろ。
It's not
確か
about
にレ
that.
プシは強いのかもね。一人だから。
Ah. You can say you're too nice, you're gonna get it close to others and form relationships, and then people can use things against you and stuff.
俺は弱くね
The strong rely on others and don't do all
物理
alone.
的な話じゃないのよ。一度風鈴の子たちに会ってみるといい。そうすればきっとわかるわ。
That you're the only one who acts like this. And the only one who treats it like this. Oh my god. This is a shitty place to live, dude.
風鈴小僧。
Brought a squad. Okay, mid-roll. I was like, what the fuck is happening? I actually thought it ended. I was gonna say that's the quickest episode I've ever watched.
正しい。これが普通の反応だ。
This is the
確
response
か
I'm
に
here
いつも
for.
拒否否定。それはもういい諦めた。例えばそいつより上だと。そう感じられると
So
思っ
that's
て
how he
いたの。
justifies all this being okay. Alright.
風鈴の戦争。
離れていくなそっちだろ。これが俺なんだよ。何してくれてんだよ。喧嘩さえ強ければ一番強ければてっぺんなんだろ。一人なことと何の関係が。
Jesus, my boy capable. My god. It's not even looking the right direction and he bounces off all over. Oh my goodness. Not again.
何すんのよ。
おいボス、手止めな。お前ら風鈴は町のやつ人質に取られんと動けねえんだよな。
ありがとう。
勘違いすんな。
Why did you come
そい
outside?
つが気に入らなかっただけだ。
That would never save you.
落ち込みやつうかなんで俺かばってんだよ。誰かのため
Come
に
on,
何か
buddy.
して
You know why.
ろくなことにはならねえじゃねえか。
I have a feeling he's gonna meet some people who also might think that way. Oh no. Fucking losers using weapons.
何やってんだ。何がしたいんだ。
Someone step in.
1年か。
Oh,
いてくれて助かった。
the boy, whoever the fuck you are. The boy. He's gonna be the boy. Oh shit.
コトアちゃん。
I thought he stopped him. I didn't think he just took a
あ
bad
んた
hit.
が危ない目にあったってことは、あいつには黙っといてくれ。
Jesus.
おい、てめえら
Ah, here come the boys. This is our new squad.
これなら2人でもよかったな。
We only need two.
風鈴が俺を助ける。
ここでも奥に進ましていろ。ぶっ飛ばすぞ。おら、やった。
Them boys are different. Oh my god. I mean, I guess we kind of saw that already, though. Oh my fucking god.
怪我してんだら下がってろ。
They didn't even draw him flying away. They just flashed him off.
嫉妬しとけやボケ。よろよろ動かれると守りきれる。
Protect me? Me need protection? Oh, they're heroes in the town. This is not what you expected, is it?
この町はちょっと前までいろいろなチームやらギャングやら
That's because the boys showed up. Well, they protected everyone.
は2年前その時から町は変わったの。変えたのは風林高校の生
So it's not what you thought.
知らねえでも字ぐらい読めるようにしとけや。これより先、人を傷つける者、物を壊す者、悪意を持ち込む者。
それはもと
We'll
も
get
と
the shit
風
kicked out
林
of
高校の名のもとに書かれていたけど、いつの間にか町の人たちが彼らに名前をつけたの。町を守るため。喧
Let
嘩
me
する
guess, is it windbreakers?
何人も例外なく、暴風林が粛清する。
Oh, alright.
暴風林、この町の盾。ウィンドブレーカー。
Oh, alright. That's how they connect. The heroes. What lads. That's sweet. You'd be fucking
土
kidding
底
me.
辺の嫌われ者。今ではみんなに愛されて、
Mm-hmm.
必要とされている。
Just stop acting so tough and just accept it.
そんなのまるで正義のヒーローじゃねえか。
Yup. What's wrong with that?
バッとひん
Just because it's not like that from where you come from.
それでも怖がられたり避けられたり。
Accept it for the things that they do. Wow. There is a place that you can be.
あんちゃんもすごかったな。
There you go. Give him some praise. That's cute.
そうや、足怪我してんだろ。早く手当てし
あ
ないと。
私はあんたは一人だって言った。だけど、なりたくてなったんじゃないのは見ててわかる。
Mm-hmm.
つもり。でもこの町の人は、さくらを必要とする。
So you don't gotta be the way that you've come to accept.
誰とも関わらない。
じゃあ
Nah,
なんで
you're alright, buddy.
山爺の忘れ物持ってきてくれたの。なんで私を助けたの。
Why are you using all these stupid justifications for the reasons why you're doing things? Exactly.
少なくとも私はさくらを向いてる。だからあんたもこっちを向きな。
The
あんた
team.
が望んだものになれるよ。
Cool. Cool. A place of belonging, brother. A place where you don't have to run away from your past.
不良がヒーロー気取りかよ。喧嘩に勝つくれ。俺にだってできんだよ。何が暴風林だ。何が松の盾だ。めちゃくちゃかっこいいぜ。
Yes. Yeah, just be honest to yourself. How was bro just standing up in the group and nobody saw him?
誰かといられるのか。
Can you actually fit in while you're here too? Yes, sir. You found a place of belonging.
これは喧嘩しか取り柄のない土底辺の嫌われ者が 町の英雄になる物語だ。
A solid introduction into the series. Now, I don't know how far we're going to push things as things kind of progress, but I feel like they laid a lot of what's to come out on the line here, like just really showed you already what's being set up almost, and essentially just going through the journey of our main character and following him as he attempts basically to save everybody around him, right? Attempts to protect those around him, and become this legendary hero, right? This one that everybody talks about and accepts for who he is, while having this place and everything that he belongs. And it seems like that's pretty much what we've set to be the case here. I don't know where they're going to really narratively drive it. This seems like one of those stories you'd watch this episode, or you would read it in like a manga form, and you'd read this episode or this chapter, I guess it would be, and you would be like thinking like, all right, this is like a one shot type of thing, right? You know what I mean? Like you got it all like summed up, like as a way to set up like a story possibly to come. But it leaves me wondering, I guess, the direction that they do plan to take things. Not saying it's impossible, because it definitely isn't, and there's a variety of ways that we can go. It's just, do we plan to keep things kind of the way that we've presented them already, or do we plan to eventually kind of turn things into, I don't know, something a little different? And by a little different, I mean, we can take things to be very maybe emotional at moments, and really have like these characters put themselves out there, right? And put their emotions and feelings into a lot of the things that come. Will we face a lot of challenges and things that come where they have to kind of make these very tough decisions to go against the things that they kind of believe in and they want to do, versus just kind of protecting the people around them? Will they have to sacrifice or lose or care for and do these things of these people that they hold closely to them, while these other groups and people kind of come along and probably target them and go after them and stuff? Or are we simply just going to find, a bunch of people who just keep trying to cause trouble within the town, and then we just kind of got to go stop them, while a lot of these characters kind of come together and grow closer together? Because that almost seems like a little too simplistic of what we're doing. And even in the direction that I've explained, I feel like can be a little simplistic depending on how far they decide to take things. So it leaves me curious, I guess, the direction that we really do want to go. With a lot of the characters and with the story itself. But there's a lot of promise, to the point that I'm not really, I guess, the most concerned by it. In worst situation, it turns into an enjoyable series that you just throw on and watch a bunch of people fight. You know what I mean? That's well animated and enjoyable, and visually just good to look at, right? Like there's promise there, regardless of, will it be like an amazing journey and story that you go on, or will it just be something that you can just have fun with and throw on? It doesn't really matter. It's more of just which way I think that it's going to end up going. I'd lean more towards it's probably going to be just something that's more fun to turn on and watch, as opposed to like something to really like kind of dig your teeth into and like get really invested in the characters and their relationships and stuff. But I'm hoping that's more so the case. I don't know. I don't think it's clear enough the direction that they go, and I think they try and set up some stakes and some understanding that like we're gonna have some depth in these things to these characters, and allowing them to have this. But that is so, it's difficult, because there's so many characters that they have to introduce, and they've kind of introduced the main character and found him to like allowed him to find his place and his belonging so early on here, that it leaves me wondering like where they plan to head next, because we can definitely develop more into him and go into like actual like experiences and things that he had with his backstory, and people that he'll probably rerun into, and a whole bunch of other stuff like that can come up. I'm not too certain, once again, the direction I think that they will take at that point. Round of applause to the team at Cloverworks for a great premiere, though. Absolutely stunning with a lot of the stuff that they do animation wise. Just visually a treat to look at for the most part. The fight sequences were fantastic. Just so much of it was well done. A lot of just I don't know, even the simple moments were just actually very visually good to look at. And maybe it's because I'm coming from a show that I just watched that was not very pretty at all to go through. This feels just so much more refreshing. I don't know, but the quality seemed completely off the charts, which I really, really loved. I really like the idea, though, of the story following somebody who struggled to almost find that place of belonging, and instead of introducing them as like the savior of the town immediately and just being that person and becoming so strong and having people kind of form around them in a way, he ends up finding those who are already viewed as and have this thing feeling established that are well above him, and then we ultimately have to kind of follow along with him while being able to slowly understand as we develop the episode that he's doing a lot of things that are delinquent like in the way that he's just picking a lot of fights and everything, in the way that he's trying to act and present himself, but at the same exact time he's not like that the exact same way as everyone else, or you might expect him to almost be like, actually showing care for a lot of the people around him and trying to attack those who pick on those, like you said, the people who think that they're strong but they're actually weak, and him trying to actually prove himself and become stronger and fight against those who are stronger. And I think it's like a nice little way of setting that up and really introducing him as a character. But what I really like, I think, is building up that place of belonging as something that he's been completely shunned for the things that he's doing, or the things that he's done within his past, getting into all the fights, picking fights with probably just a lot of people and causing harm to many, or putting like his family and friends and stuff in tough situations as a result, where he gets looked at, or they all get looked at in a certain light because they see themselves around him, giving himself like a bad reputation, and having all these traumatic things almost that kind of weigh on him over time. And we even see with the opening shot of him kind of just waking up and having to go through this nightmare, right, and having to walk on this tightrope, and hear all this stuff kind of around him, that the moment that he makes one sort of mistake again, or the moment one thing goes wrong, he can kind of fall from this. It's like a very tough experience for him to kind of be in. So instead he decides to walk this line that he goes down, and he decides to fully commit to what he's doing and find himself, okay, I've heard of the school and the situation and the people that kind of come from here, and I'm going to go prove myself and actually just make use of the things that I've always done, the things that I've been kind of shunned from. I'm going to find that place I belong by becoming the strongest one there, and I'm going to get to the top of the line when I ultimately go there. And it perfectly tracks, and it makes plenty of sense why you get kind of thrown out of your own town in a way, and you kind of force yourself out while others have kind of forced you out as well. So you might as well just go find the place where they all tell you that you belong anyways. So he ends up going there and ultimately finds something that's not the case at all. He finds that these people are largely praised for the things that they do. They are largely like appreciated for protecting and for fighting and doing all these things that he never once could have thought that somebody would have done. He's gone through so many experiences of being completely shamed for the things that he's done, right, and for doing these exact same things. So the fact that he can kind of put himself and see that there's people here who are appreciated for doing that, which is probably also something that weighs on him a lot, because I'm assuming a lot of the times, and probably the start that he got came from him doing good things. Probably a similar situation to like this. He finds a girl who's getting kind of picked on by these other people, and he runs up to them and he starts fighting them as a result, right? You claim that you're strong, but here you are picking on the weak and kind of using your power for something like that. Like, why not actually go against somebody at your own level, right? It's the common phrase, why not pick on somebody your own size? Like, why do you always look down on others? Does it make you satisfied seeing that you are picking on people who are below you, right? Do you feel stronger and better about yourself by putting yourself in that situation? And I'd assume his first encounter, and probably a lot of his encounters that he had, were of similar situations, him trying to take those people down a level and really put them in their place and understand that the things that they're doing are wrong. But as a result, he gets viewed, because he was so strong in those moments and taking them down, he gets viewed as a bad person, right? He gets viewed in a negative light because all they do is come out and see him picking the fight. All they see is him causing harm, and all they see is what's left of the other person, right? And what's left in the way that their face looks afterwards. So of course he's going to get put as the violent one, and he's going to gain a bunch of these labels and this reputation for him that might go completely against the way that he actually was intending these initial encounters and things to kind of be. So of course all of this stuff is going to kind of weigh on him and bother him. So finding this group of people who get appreciated for doing those things is great. I mean, that's why he goes into like his Cinderella like moments, right, where we get to see him get completely embarrassed and also just start like yelling and denying the fact that he was doing things out of like the goodness of his heart and everything, right? It's because constantly he was probably attacked for doing these types of things, so he had to find ways to kind of defend himself and be like, no, I wasn't doing it for this. And then he had to also try and justify himself later on and be like, you know what, no, I was doing it for this reason, and not actually sticking up for the actual reason that he was, but just claiming like, yeah, I am just trying to be strong, and justify it in a way that fits more of that narrative, that he doesn't have to overly explain himself in any sort of way. And it's just like, we don't have to do that anymore. You found a place here. You don't have to follow that line and actually do that. And you found people in a place that you almost belong, which I think is really, really cool. And he can kind of understand that and be so accepting of that now, and finally put himself in a situation where he can work together with others and become heroes of this town by doing the thing that he basically loves to do the most anyways. And it all works out really perfect. And I think it's an excellent way to really set that up. I love just the way that they express this opening. Him kind of walking and panicking all the way, just surrounded by the void, basically, right? Walking on this rope in complete white outline and everything, and hearing all these negative things that the people around him, which I think is really, really cool. Him waking up and just immediately being like, fuck, like again, like that shit. Of course it has to happen. Walking through, he's in his new town. I like how they flash to this. I didn't actually realize this too much at the beginning, but they end up flashing through to the group for the windbreakers and everything that we get to see. He ends up picking on this girl, Tachibana, I believe is her name. And then of course you have to take down the dude who thinks that he's strong, who picks on others and takes things from them and uses his own strength to his advantage in these moments by picking on the weak. Of course we have a problem with that, so we have to immediately bring them down another notch, which I think is great. We get a really fun intro, very high energy. The song's really great, and just there's so many good cuts that happen throughout it too. I hope some of it is like actual things we get to see in the series at some point. Usually I hate when they show things from the series within the intro, but like some of these were done so excellent that like I kind of hope we get those sort of moments at some point. But they're actually really beautiful moments like this. Like it just looks so good, which I'm really, really happy for. But it seems like he finds a place of belonging and plenty of different fun and unique characters. I like the end moment here where we have like the green outlines of them just kind of like spinning through all the different moments and stuff that are happening. His complete shock in his initial moment of being thanked, like, me, like, what the you're not coming to yell at me, really? Like, what the fuck? It's completely such a different world for him to kind of be in here, which I think is great. We have a fun little conversation with her, who is like the most attractive woman ever, and then we end up we get down a little bit towards him with his eyes being different color, his hair, all of that stuff, why exactly he's here, what his intentions and his goals are, basically being shut down completely though. Instead of being able to embrace this thing that you're trying to and get to the top of the line and do all of this, she's like, brother, you are not going to be able to do absolutely any of that stuff at all. She teases him a lot, which I really, really like as well. We end up giving over the gift, which we don't have to do any of this, but we're just showing more of that kindness in his heart. But basically she informs him like, dude, you're alone in this. You don't understand it yet, but you are the only one who's going to be acting out and thinking that this is how this stuff actually goes, which we later end up figuring out is exactly the case, because none of the people at the school do that. Their reputation is completely changed. It's entirely different now, and all it did was take a group of these like strong-willed individuals to be able to really make that happen, which I think is really, really cool. Him just like denying it too and being like, I'm not so weak that I can't win without relying. It's like that's not the point. Like that's not where we're coming from with it either. But also even just in a moment like that, it's like it's important too to understand that you can and you should rely on others in specific moments, and you don't have to rely on them just for the fighting and the other things. I mean, look what just happened. You got basically blessed by being able to have this food and this conversation and everything. Like you're relying on that person to like hear you out in these moments, and she gladly would be able to, but you don't openly speak your mind about these things. It's like there's plenty of other things that not just in a physical form that they can actually use as a way to kind of unwind a little bit and kind of let himself loose, and also just kind of relying on others, which I think is something that hopefully he develops a little bit and can slowly understand, which I'm assuming he will while he grows closer to a lot of the other members of his group that he ultimately will have to at some point. Living in the world where everyone looks at him different, where he is alone, where he would have to beat down on everybody and become alone just to get to the top and do all of this stuff. It's like that's not exactly how it is. The fight sequence is so good. Everything about it was really, really fun. It's extremely dynamic with the movement of the camera and everything that happened. There are a few moments where they were like spinning around too much and doing things where like the background was like staying so flat, but all the characters were like bending and doing things that it just felt like a little off. But even then, it's just so much better quality than like a lot of other things, and so unique with the way that they're doing it that I'm not going to fault or like complain at all for what it is. I understand why she came outside, but it's like, I wish you didn't, because you're forcing yourself into a situation that's not necessary here. Protecting himself a little bit more and trying to help her, but he gets cornered and there's nothing else that he can do after getting slit with a knife there on his ankle and ultimately about to get hit by this bat. This dude just shows up out of nowhere and completely takes it for us. She gets extremely happy. I don't know in this moment if her reaction that she had, it was like a relief and like a thankful and like excited to see this person kind of thing, is because she was genuinely just like happy that she was saved, or if it's like a actual thing kind of between her and this other guy here. I don't know, like reading into it too much, but we'll see. Fun group of characters, of course they are, because they all have different hairstyles and accessories and things that these other guys clearly don't get. So you know that they're part of the main group, of course. And of course they go to work and completely just destroy absolutely everyone. And they are looked at as saviors, and he's completely confused. Why is this the case? Why are they thankful for what these people ended up doing? Didn't they just cause all this destruction and stuff? It's like, yeah, of course. We explain it a little bit with the group, what they've become, how they've changed the name over time, how the city's kind of been changed so much. You know, at first I was like, damn, people are just breaking windows and doing shit. Like, why the fuck would you want to live here? It's like, well, you got people like this now who can kind of protect you and do these things. That stuff was probably the norm, and nobody ever did anything about it years ago until something like this ended up showing up. It's such a wonderful thing. Him kind of just once again looking on the outside here and being alone, but you don't have to be in this moment until people come over and start praising you and thanking you for these things. His struggling to process like his own feelings and stuff in these moments too, I think is really great. And I absolutely love that, till he's able to fully look up and look forward and make his declaration of, you know what, it's pretty fucking sick that we're able to, and be able to kick this dude down one more time and ultimately have his group that he can join up with as his story will now begin. Fun styling for the ED, and pretty fun with the song as well. Typical ED kind of stuff though, but just the style of it I think is really fun. It was quite fun, really enjoyed it, and I'm kind of excited, I guess, just to see how we develop things a little bit further on. If you guys liked it all, hit the like and subscribe. They do mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the videos and channel, leave me comments to this episode or series, as well as recommend other things you might want to see me watch at some other point within this season or just at some other time. I'll be back probably for episode 2 next week. You have a good one though. Peace.